Good evening, everyone. Uh, my name is Dr. Vignesh. On behalf of the PN Panika Foundation and the National Digital Library of India, we are very happy to invite you for this webinar on uh, literature enhances reading habit. And good evening, everyone. Just give me a moment. So this is one of the topics that is very closer to my heart because in this time of technology, and we have so much of distraction in the form of digital devices and the technology tools. Uh, like, how do we bring them back to reading or enhances the reading habit of one uh, through literature? So this is something that has been going on in my mind, and Dr. Batmavati, I know her for almost a couple of years now, and we used to discuss on this topic whenever we meet. We have met at least 4 times. In all the four meetings, I think we have discussed this aspect of her literature work and how she has contributed to the literature world in her own ways, right? And Dr. Batmavati has been working in this literature field for almost a couple of decades now, and she has done an amazing work. One of the works that I would like to quote is she has translated the uh, poems of Bharatiyar into Hindi, and similarly, she has done a lot of work the Hindi poems into Tamil. So she has done both Tamil into Hindi, Hindi into Tamil. That's her strength, and she has been successful in doing it. I think for people who love literature and the way through which literature can contribute to enhance the reading habit, uh, I think she is one of the best person that I could quickly think of. So, on behalf of the PN Panika Foundation and National Digital Library of India, who is the co-organizer of this 25th National Reading Day and Reading Month and Digital Reading Month celebration. I would like to welcome Dr. V. Patmavati, who is currently the head of the Department of Hindi at the PHGR Krishnamal College for Women, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So, you are welcome, madam. I welcome you heartily for this webinar.
Nice, Vignesh sir. Thank you.
So over to you. So you may start your proceedings.
First of all, I thank Panika Foundation for the tremendous work they are carrying out to spread reading as a mission. Really, that is the need of the hour, and I mm, heartily congratulate our NDLI and MHRD, Niti Ayog for joining. All good peoples join, and they are taking this noble mission of reading and spreading this light of reading throughout our nation. And definitely, I can see, I can actually perceive, according to my perception, definitely next year by this, because that's a very good combination of people and ideas that are coming out, because now the reading is taken to the digital level through NDLI, and I am associated with NDLI as the coordinator for the NDLI in our college NDLA club, PHGR Krishnamal College NDLA club. We find a lot of differences which are taking place through this NDLI, and our students are benefited tremendously, and they are taking up this reading as a passion, and I am able to experience it. And because of all these experiences which I have gained out of it, and as Vignesh ji told, we used to discuss about this thing, and because it's actually I would like to congratulate all the participants who are taking part in this webinar, because I think all of you will be the readers, uh, and maybe this is a very mixed group. So I don't know, because if it is school students or college students or general public, I don't know who what is the background of the people. So I just go into the, and many because our nation is full of many languages, many culture, and that's the strength of us. So I will make it a, I will not tell about Hindi literature much. And Tamil is my mother tongue. I will just highlight certain things, and I will generally tell you. I had a question in the chat box. Someone has asked me, "Are you going to now? I'm getting reading is the only way to achieve success." No, it is not the only way, but it's a very important way. It's very important way, and if you just hold this way, definitely you can reach the destiny very fast. And I can tell out of my experience, sir. So I will start with this thing. First of all, I would thank Panikar Foundation, NDLI, Niti Ayog, Vignesh ji, and each and everyone, and all the participants who are taking part in this webinar. And I will share some of my experiences also, and some of my views, which I will make it a very generalized one, because it's a very composite group. I may not concentrate in any one particular literature, because I my area of literary knowledge is confined to only few languages. So many people may find it very difficult. If I don't know Gujarati, I don't know Marathi, I may not touch up all those languages, so I will not take risk of just touching few things. I will just tell you what the literature, how it enhances reading habit, and in what way literature is a reading habit. Is a reading is not confined to any one language or any one area. It's a very vast area, but literature helps in many ways. So it is one angle which we are dealing. It's one dimension which helps in improving reading habit, and how this reading habit influences each and every person. So that is the focus of my topic today. Uh, I would like to quote the two lines of our Adikavi, that is our noble Kavi Kalidasa. Vagarthaviva sampraktau Vagartha pratipattaye Jakata pitarau vande Parvati Parameshwaraha. So he has told Vak and Earth, Vak, word, and Earth, meaning it goes along, and when these two join, good literature, meaning, and it adds meaning to life. And he prays, or actually personifies these two as the communion of Parvati and Parameshwara. So this literature is a very widely used term. Literature, it is generally defined as the books or other written works. The concept of literature has a multi-dimensional applicability. In the broader perspective, they can be considered to have creative or artistic merit or lasting value. In some other areas also, this term is used. That is not only to the novels or the poems or the other literary works which we read. Not only that, literature is a very wide term. So for the researchers who do the research, they will say review of literature. So in that instance, the word of the meaning of that in literature is something different. That is a specialized area of the specific knowledge. Okay. So this type of things we can see, and today I'm just going to tell you about the two important area of that is, one is the pure literature where we tell about the stories, novels, dramas, poetries, and other is literature can be even used for the information related to any product, that is in the commercial way, I'm telling. That is brochure, leaflets, and other printed matter used to advertise products or give advice, like advising and promotional literature. So in that way also it can be used. See, whatever, when you go and buy any refrigerator, you can just take, they will give some pamphlet, so it gives you information. So in a broader way we can take that the literature is the thing, it's a written thing that gives you information. So when you go through that pamphlet, when you go through that uh, readable material, you come to know about what is that fridge about, and all the technical details, everything you get in that. So all the written works, printed works, published works, they can be taken as literature. And what are all the areas this literature cover? Humanities, arts, liberal arts, and in the other way, science, environmental science, then a technical area, commerce, marketing. So everywhere this literature is there. So now, because it is a very wider area, I am not getting into the other form of literature. I am just going to tell you about the simple way of literature, which is the fiction or something related to the arts and humanities or liberal arts. Only I am going to limit my area to that. So what my focus will be the importance of literature in our life, and who should read literature. So is the literature for everyone, and has the habit of literature declined today? It's a very important thing which we have to see, especially among young people or youth. Has the habit of reading been replaced by media and electronic gadgets? And what are all the different types of literature which will help us enhance the reading habit? Literature focuses on making our life and attitude towards life better. So, what are all the other benefits which we receive from reading literature? And the literature strengthens the roots of culture, value, ethics, and moral. Literature balances our mood fluctuations, harmonizes our mind. So all these benefits are there. It, its attracting ability can be used to channelize the habit of reading among all readers. Concept now, then finally I want to tell you about this concept of national literature and global literature, which is very much required. So to begin with, I would like to tell you the few words of R.L. Stevenson. The difficulty of literature is not to write, but to write what you mean, not to affect your reader, but to affect him precisely as you wish. So these are the words of R.L. Stevenson, which actually influenced a lot. It has left a great impact on my mind. So this particular aspect of Stevenson, that the writer affects the reader and affects him as per the writer's wish. This is the main thing which I want to emphasize. And this is only the main thing which is going to help us in enhancing or using the literature as a tool to enhance the reading habit among all age group. Okay, then so only it goes without saying that literature enhances the habit of reading and has the not only it enhances the habit of reading, but also it has an immense part to transform the society as a whole. So when a particular thing, whenever you read anything, see, whatever you do, you measure it some quantitatively or qualitatively, some benefits you should reap. Always we expect something. So whenever you read any literature, how can you quantify the outcome of reading a particular literature? So what is actually that literature doing in us? Can you quantify it? You can read any, in Kabir Das has told, many of you would have read, Gunge ke gudke saman. So, for example, if I give you one rasgulla, all of you will like rasgulla. But after that, if I ask you, you quantify your experience of eating that rasgulla. So, what will you do? So, what you do is, you will just say, yeah, it's good, excellent, nice, so sweet. Apart from that, what can you tell about that rasgulla? Can you tell more than that? That rasgulla was very nice, no doubt about it. And how did you feel about it? You can't quantify it. How much joy, how much sweet you had. So one person may say, the person who is having, who is diabetic, he may say, no, no, I don't want much sweet. Another person may say, no, no, I want more sweet. So it actually varies. And the experience also varies. So you cannot quantify the outcome of literature, of benefit of literature, but definitely it changes, some chemical changes going. I have experienced it. I have asked my students to read the literary works apart from what is prescribed in their this textbooks. That is very important. See, nowadays what I feel is, see, when students come to the college level or higher secondary level, our students feel that they can just study the science books, technologies, and NEET. I have to clear NEET. I have to get into this job, that job. They are so stressed. Give them one nice book, that stress is released. In many cases, I have seen to the pathetic condition is, many institutions, they don't teach the language or literature, and they devote that time for teaching other subjects. See, language or the literature, it is the only time period where the students get relaxed, they can interact, they can think on their own. See, if you teach Newton's third law is Newton's third law for all the students. It's not going to change. But if I teach Sumitra Nandan Pant's poetry, or Maithili Sharan Gupta's poetry, or Subramanya Bharatiyar's poetry, or any poetry like that, definitely each and every student will experience something away. Every experience will be very unique. So definitely the literature should be made as a part of reading to everyone. See, at least some 2 lines you can read in literature. It depends upon, devote some time for reading literature every day, at least a week. At least what we have to do is, when the children grow up, you see, to nowadays, because of this NDLA or digital portals, we have so many digital learning materials. There you cannot buy all the books, and financially also it is expensive, and the papers, actually your environmental reason also, many books, they if you print, definitely they are hazardous to environment, no doubt about it. But at least you should have a small library of few books in your house, at least one small almirah, one small area for books. And every time, and if it is very good if all of you sit together and read one a literary work. It's a beautiful thing. You read a poetry, and there is a word called as one question in the chat box. I thought I just came across what it will definitely, what type of thing, what is it going to do actually to us? What is the use of studying literature? Why should we read literature? Why should we read literature? Because to become samvedansheel. Uh, it is a very beautiful word, samvedana. Vedana means empathy. Samvedana, to understand the emotions, moods, feelings of others. Definitely literature helps. Okay, when you can feel, when you read Ramayana, that Valmiki was not was just a mere hunter, but when he saw the Krauncha Pakshi, they are falling, and he could see, he could feel, he had that samvedana. He could feel the pain of that Krauncha Pakshi, and he wrote a great epic Ramayana. So for us to understand others better, we are losing that thing mainly. You just see I can see everywhere, even in the lockdown period, the entire family is inside the house. Each one is having one in that is some form of Facebook or this thing or that thing. They don't mingle with each other, and actually it should unite you. It's not doing it. So what we should do is we have to try. I don't blame anything. Everything is required. Because of the technological advancements, because of the social media, because of all these things, only we are united and we are able to do many things. But you should know how to use a knife. A knife can be used to cut vegetables. It can be used to slit the throat of a person. It's only the matter, it is only the point under which circumstance you are going to use the knife, and how you are going to use. Are you going to use it as a weapon, or you are just going to use it as a just a tool to cut your vegetables to feed your family? So it is in your hands how you are using. Even the literature, I am telling you, go and read literature. Literature enhances. So what type of literature? What type of literature? Because in Sanskrit, we have three type of literature. In ancient times, we have three type of kavya. Kavya only they used to say. Gadya kavya, padya kavya, champu kavya. Gadya kavya means prose literature. Padya means in the padas or the meters with the poetical form. And champu kavya both mixed. And another form they had is drishya kavya. That is Nataka, Natya. So all these things come under the Drishya Kavya. So this Drishya Kavya that is transformed into today's screens, the movies, the mega serials. We get addicted to it. And all of us say, yo, today we complain. This is spoiling us, this is spoiling that, that is spoiling our children. It is not good for society. And many times people, any criminal, he may give in his interview that I have seen particular film and I have committed this crime. So all these things we are able to see. So it means that it is not utilized properly. And what I used to say is, if you have a very sublimed reading habit, We have to teach children from the young age. Parents, teachers, the entire society should be responsible to see that the literature, in its good form, in its sublimed form, in a very effective way, it should be given to the society. We have to ensure that the policies should be framed, and there should be screening at all levels, censors at all levels. We have to see that our human resources are properly channelized. That is, if we ask, see, if you see, if millions of you take a promise that I will watch only good movies, I will watch only this type of good things. If you have a clear idea, definitely good things will be shown to you, because that is a market. And any product or anything will be marketed only if they find the customers. So if you are a very clear customer, if you know what you actually want, definitely you will be given good things, good products. See, before independence, if you go through all the Indian literature, they will be just having all the newspapers or all the literature. They didn't write anything as a for their commercial gains. But once they had only ultimate goal to get social freedom, political freedom, and the national freedom. But do you think, have we achieved that freedom now, even after so many decades of freedom, getting the freedom? No, we have a long way to go. And I am very much sure that definitely literature will help us. Literature will help us to achieve that goal of complete freedom from poverty, from, I cannot tell you, as I told you, I cannot guarantee if you read this book, you will get so many bucks. I will not tell you that. But definitely the transformation will definitely happen. I have experienced it. I have taught my students, and many students have come out of their mental depression after reading particular books. I used to tell, don't go after any medicines. Books are your medicines. Give books as the companions for your children. For their birthdays, give them some good reading material. Encourage them. Whenever your child reads a good poem, share it with them. Share something you do. Even if you don't know literature, take part in the experience of that child. Definitely, your child will become a very good citizen. I'll tell you one story. A teacher, what he did is, a student was there, and he was a very notorious fellow. That notorious is a very this word I should not use for any teacher, any student, but somewhat just to explain you, I'm using. So what happens is, this boy, he never used to listen to anyone. He was actually in bad books of all the teachers. So one particular literature, his language teacher, what he did is, they had some books which were not of that much literary value, or which they generally, for the purpose of just stacking, they had some books which no one prefers. No one prefer that, prescribe that author also. That particular X and Y is that author. So, but this boy is always goes in the direction opposite to other people. So he goes, picks up that book, and this teacher watches. Okay, he reads one book, and they have one library here. Definitely, they have to sit there only. So he's made to sit. So when everyone is picking up their choice of books, this boy goes, picks up one book from the rack and reads that book. He's very much, okay, let me read this book. One book he finishes. Afterwards, he finishes the second book. And there's no third book from that author. He goes and asks that librarian, you have any other book of this author? Because without knowing, it makes younger minds, definitely. And that librarian tells, no, it is not prescribed by others. Just for the name's sake, I have bought some 2 books of that author. But this language teacher, what he does is, the same week, the next same day, what he does is, he rides his bicycle, goes to the town, buys that book, keeps it in that rack. He buys more books of that author. And this boy, what he does is, he read those books. And when he reads those books, actually, he is very much impressed, and he is reading. And after that, he is asking, and his friends, he discusses with the other students. Other students say, okay, you are reading that bogus author. Why do you read those? We don't touch that author at all. Then he comes to this language teacher. He's asking the teacher, whatever I'm reading, are they not good? No, it's not. It's fine only. You try these all books. He introduces him to the other author. Slowly he is developing. And after a few months, he is able to realize that something is happening. And his behavior changes. And what happens is, and he goes out of the school, becomes a very good entrepreneur. He helps the society, does many things, achieves. And when the alumni meet comes, he shares this thing with everyone, that this reading has helped him to analyze himself. Because when that particular character in the book which he has studied, he has read, he is doing any wrong thing, he is analyzing why that character is doing that thing. Yes, it is wrong. So he has his own way of analyzing the qualities of the character. And then what he feels, yes, I also have this type of habit. I also have to get rid of this thing. So slowly, when he reads this type of thing, he comes across so many minors in other characters. Then he feels, I have to change myself and find a. He thinks that literature will definitely help, and he can come out of all the demerits which he has in his behavior, and he becomes successful. And I have one question in this chat box. Please suggest one book to fight depression. Sir, whatever book you like that relaxes you, because as I told you, the pill which I take may not work for you. All the literature, because when I read this Tagadi's Chemmin in translation of Sundar Ramaswamy, a great writer of Tamil, I really felt that I should have read Malayalam. I should have known Malayalam completely, because that original flavor I should have read. So that time I felt like that. And when I read another book, at that time I was somewhat mentally depressed, and totally changed me. So only the choice, all the things, whenever you start reading, it's only the attitude that relieves your depression. Don't forget about all the things. Keep aside everything. Enjoy the reading literature. You keep aside everything. Read good story, good novel, good poetry, good drama, whatever you like. Very good informations you can get. And when you read all these things, So it's not a prescription which is required for getting away with the mental depression. All the good books, it's only the attitude. You forget about other things, read one good thing. So this is the approach which is required to get along with any literary work. Definitely, that differs from person to person. Because for me, Bharatiya's poetry, when I translated, I was totally, because during night time only I used to get time for doing my translation work. When I read Bharatiya's poetry, all my tiredness, all my anxiety, all my pain goes, and I enter into a different world. And if I tell you, एक मजेदार बात I can tell you. When I was in the school level, I used to read Famous Five, Filthy Five, and Agatha Christie's. PG Woodhouse, then this thing, Agatha Christie's Elephants, PG Woodhouse, I think. Elephants can't remember. And when I got into the college, World in My Pocket. So all these books, no, they actually entertained me. I enjoyed those books at that level. But slowly my taste changed. So in the same way, give children from the age, identify their age. You can ask them to choose their books, take them to a bookshop, introduce them. Even if when you buy or not, it is immaterial. Introduce them to the books. Take them to the bookshop. Let them see the cover page of the book. That is more than enough. And because now I cannot ask you to buy and stack so many books. And so many digital resources are available. And another problem is on chat box, I have one question. This technology, it is taking away. Yes, it is a very, as I used to tell, it is actually the digital pandemic is happening nowadays. But as I told you, you have to first, we have to correct ourselves. I know many parents who forget about everything, take their WhatsApp or take their Facebook, they go on chatting with it. First, we are the role models. If you do correct thing, your children will do correct thing. If you read, if you discuss good things with them, whatever you read, you discuss with your children. You tell, child, beta, today I read this thing, I enjoyed it. Very good things are told in this book. You tell your children. Sometimes they may say, no, it's boring, I won't read. Yes, don't just keep on smiling and telling. No, you should read this only. This should not be the habit. Whenever you say, no, you please listen to me. Maybe this will be of some use to you. I'm telling you, I want to share it with you. I read this good thing. You please listen to this. And you also can do something like this. So actually, many people are asking for some good literary works. Actually, I am not prepared for prescribing language wise. My language skills are not that much that only I know Hindi literature, few English books and Tamil books, of course, I know equally on par with Hindi books. Otherwise, some things are there. If you can read the poetries to the best of my knowledge, if you all of you know Hindi, you can read the novels of Premchand. They tell you about that period, what happened, and Yashpal's novels, short stories are there, and Vishnu Prabhakar is a very good contemporary writer, and there are many writers. Rahul Sankrityayan's Olga Se Ganga Tak, all of you should read. Now I will just read one translation of the poetry of English translation of the poetry of Bhardiyar. That is the poetry which everyone loves. It is actually a romantic poetry. Kaatru veliyidai kannamma, permeating wind kannamma, musing over your love makes me ecstatic. Elixir font your lips, moon soaked, brimming eyes, smelted to purest gold your body. In this world, for as long as I live, you satiate my mind, precluding distractions, transforming me into a celestial being right here on earth. These are the lines of Subramanya Bharatiya. I will tell you, maybe many of you may not understand Tamil. காற்று வெளியிடை கண்ணம்மா நிந்தன் காதலை எண்ணி கழிக்கின்றேன் அமுதூற்றினை ஒத்த நின் இதழ்கள். So in this way it goes. I just this thing. And in Hindi, I think many of you will be knowing Hindi. As I told you, in the Malayalam also we have very good works. I have read the Malayalam works in through the translations only. As I told you, Tagari's Totin Magan is there. So other Bashir's translation I have read. And Shelley's poetry, Woe to the West Wind, O wild west wind, thou breath of atoms being, thou, from whose unseen presence the leaves dead, are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing, yellow and black and plain and hectic red, pestilent, stricken multitudes, O thou, who chariot us to that dark wintry bed. So in this way, see, the same way Ode to Nightingale is written by John Keats. So all these things are the treasure classics of English literature. So, and I can tell you, introduce you to many of the Tamil. I have translated 100 Tamil short stories into Hindi under the title Biswi Shatabdi Ki Tamil Kahani. So, wherein I have tried to trace all the, I have, see, all this type of translations help us to know about the other languages. See, what we have to do is the another thing which I can suggest you is you can ask in order to increase the language skills and communication skills and the personality of the children or the students, or even if you want to increase or improve your personality level, what you have to do is you have to read good literature. And when you have read, I cannot know all the languages. So what we can do is either through English or Hindi, we can read the best literary works from other places also. What it will do, in what way it will be helpful to you. That is, when if you want to read on Telugu literature, if it is translated to English or Hindi, these translated works, actually what I came to know is nowadays in all the book fairs, the translated books are gaining popularity. So this is a very healthy trend, and in a multilingual nation like ours, these things are to be encouraged. So you can read this type of books. And Yashpal you can read, Bhairav Prasad Gupta, and modern writers Usha Priyamvada and Krishna Sopti's works you can read, and Mridula Garg, Mamta Kalia. So many writers are there. I cannot tell. See, we have ocean of literature, and Indian literature you cannot, you can compare with any other thing. So many cultural values, and nowadays, no, what you can see is the literature, they are written from the people who are, because nowadays publishing a book or taking the knowledge to the world, it is not that much difficult as that during those days, because nowadays you have your own blogs, technology is improved, the much money is not required for it. If you have the ability, if you write good thing, you can even write. When you, so what you have to do is you have to encourage the children to express their ideas or give the feedback about any work when they read any work of their interest. That should be encouraged. So when you do all these things, maybe They will also become like a Shakespeare or Manu Bandari or Shelley, Keats, Subramanya Bharatiyar, Mahavir Prasad Vedi. So in this way, they can also become like that. Only thing is we have to channelize. We have to first read, and we have to see that they are encouraged to do this reading as a, they have to take up this as a passion. And what does this reading helps? How it helps? So reading for literary experience and reading for to acquire knowledge. So whatever things. So one is for living, another for livelihood. So for living, what is required? That is non-materialistic, non-commercial. That thing you want to be happy. So how can you be happy? If I give you 1,000 rupees, will you be happy? If I give you $1,000,000, will you be happy? So that is that you cannot say. But livelihood, it requires this thing. Yes, I want to buy this much car, one Audi car, I want this much. Benz, I want this much money. You can quantify, you can tell your expectation. But when I tell you, you want to be happy, what do you require? Definitely, you cannot quantify and say that I want this much. I want so many costly clothes or gadgets or whatever thing. Which will make me happy? So that happiness that you can receive through literature. So slowly, you please introduce each and every child to this world of reading through the literature. So actually, because in this short time, I'm not able to give you a list of books you have to read. I have a very good, you can take up, all of you have to read this Rahul Sankrityayan's Volga Se Ganga Tak. That is translated into almost all Indian languages and as well as this uh, international languages. And what this reading does, what are all the benefits I receive or we receive from this reading? It strengthens the brain because as I told you, definitely it makes, you can experience it. It increases empathy and it builds vocabulary. When your child reads any book, unknowingly, you cannot ask your child to read 10 words from dictionary every day and build their vocabulary. Instead, you give one good literature to them, they will increase their vocabulary. Then it prevents the cognitive decline of the student, of the children or students, or even ours. So it is applicable for all the age. And another thing is, it reduces stress. You read good literature, definitely you need not go to any psychologist. You need not take any pill. You need not take any sleeping pill for if you have any sleeping disorders. Make reading a habit. Yes, all our students used to say whenever we have a textbook, we used to get sleep. It's not that, because this reading harmonizes, it harmonizes your mind. That is very much required for sleeping. You read a good work. Don't read anything which disturbs you during your night time. Even not a this thing, you have to forget about very bad things or very bad book which actually disturbs you during the night time. So it aids sleep, alleviates depression, and finally, ultimately, what is that? It increases, lengthens your lifespan. So all these benefits are that you can reap through reading good literature. So I'm just specific about this good literature. So if you read good literature, if you select good literature, definitely I can guarantee you that definitely the benefits are much, which I cannot quantify and tell you, which I cannot give a limit that so much benefit you will get. Like that, I will not tell. So you have a free mind. Read anything that pleases you. Select anything, because nowadays, due to this advent of digital resources, reading is not that much difficult. So when, if you want to read Polin Selvan by Kalki, very voluminous, you can read it, you can easily get it, you can read it. And in this way, if you want to read any poems, you can read. Watch good films. So even that is also, many literary works are taken as films. This Padmavat, it is Jaisi, Malik Muhammad Jaisi's Padmavat. So many things. In Tamil, we had one movie, Veera Pandiya Kattabomman. So it was the life story of Kattabomman, great freedom fighter. And many people came to know about Kattabomman only after seeing that film. So select, be selective. Always select good ones. Definitely they will help. Definitely our society will become a very beautiful one. I expect many things from the society. And literature is the mirror of the society. If you want good people to come out of this society, you have to give them good literary works. Because as we know, Gandhiji saw the Harichandra and he forbidden telling lies. So all these things we have come across. If you happen to read the life history of Karl Marx, I cried after reading Karl Marx life history. Engel, his friend's wife was dead, and he has intimated. And he tells in a beautiful way. And he's telling, Marx, I have written about my wife's demise to you, and you have not responded. Karl Marx, that is the letter. Actually, it is these are all the letters, but they are the literature. They have the literary value. Actually, they are letters. Really, in reality, real life, they are the letters. So in this way, we come across many things. So please read, select the biographies of great people. Introduce them to your children. Definitely, your children will become great, and they will be read by the next future generation. So I think we can have some interaction session. I think many things are coming, but new generation is more comfortable with electronics. Don't be worried. We will try our best. I think many chat box I'm getting this only, that literature is important in everyday life, and so in this way they are telling. And many of you are worried about this influence of electronic gadgets. So as I told you, first we have to actually streamline our way of thinking and way of life. Then only we have to try, we have to actually educate them, we have to channelize their desires. You give them good things, keep on telling good things in a proper way, in a beautiful way and acceptable way. Definitely the next younger generation will get into good world of reading. And because see, a very small point I'm telling you, why these children are getting attracted towards these electronic gadgets, because they are entertaining. You give them good entertaining books, entertaining literature, you go after it, fine, give them to your children. Definitely they will read all those things, and definitely one day they will enter into this world of literature, and they will definitely, that will be replaced by the digital resources, digital gadgets which they use, unnecessarily. Of course, that is, they can use, they can play. All these things are available, but there should be some point, the control limit, which make them actually, which will actually help them to overcome all these unwanted things and make their life, which will not hinder their way of development. That we should definitely do, and for that we have to work for it. So if we work for it, definitely no problem. We can achieve that. We have to be patient. We have to work for it. We have to select. We have to devote time for it. We should have some family time for reading. We have to share all these things with our children. We have to speak to them. First, parents don't have time to speak to them about all these things. And you expect children, all whenever the parents are not listening to them, everyone is in one room, one direction, and they have it. So we have to curtail that. Definitely a day will come when children themselves will choose good literature, good things to read, and they definitely help to create a very healthy, safe, strong society and strong India. I have great and a very strong belief in it. And
So
uh,
I have a quick question which was written by one of the participants in my mail. So this question is from Miss Aparna Ravi. So her question is: there is a very less number of children literature available in our country. Only NBT and CPT books make our kids imagine the characters and make the stories enjoyable. Even
Mhm.
lesser books are available in regional language for kids. Thus, we are
Mhm.
only providing them with Western-based literature. How can it be
Yeah, yeah.
rectified?
No, that
Also,
see,
how to
what
improve the reading habit?
we have our own literature. Thing is, many things are not that I wanted to tell you. We have very good folklore, folk literature, everything, but many things are not coming out in print. So that is a project or thing should be made. See, all the stories from Ramayana, Mahabharata, Panchatantra. I would like to tell about. I don't think I have much time, but I will just tell you the story of Virama Munivar. That is the Panchatantra stories. Our Virama Munivar is a very good writer. He has told that
Ma'am,
Guru,
keep the mic down if there is distraction.
that Guru, what he does is they start traveling, and his disciples, they are not that much this thing. Key, they keep on telling the disciples, what they say is they have to cross one river, and when they cross the river, what they do is they want to see. One disciple says that when they cook the food on the bank of the river, and when they cook the food, what they do is that burn lakdi, or the wood will be there, and they will throw it in the river, and that will say whoosh. So like that it will have some sound. Then the guru will say, he acts very humorously. So he will say that the nadi, or the river, no, that's very, seems to be very dangerous. So we will cross the river during night time. And night time, no, by the night time, they wait for the night time. They see that throw the wood which is already the fire is not there in that wood. They throw the wood once again, then they say, okay, okay, now it's safe for us to go. So in this way, many stories are available. And what we have to there, some government project sponsored project should come. The streamlined work we take on to create this type of regional literature, and very easy way of having the children literature is, we can have a forum, common forum, to translate all the available children literature, to translate it into the as many languages as possible. So that is the only way in which, and another advantage for this is, we can have our culture actually transmitted to our children. So in this way, it's a very easy way which we can do now. It's a very easy way we can do.
So to add upon your question, so I came across an interesting librarian in West Bengal.
Mm,
So he did an enormous task of collating all the children literature in
mm,
Bengali,
mm,
and he came up with a big volume of about 500 pages of volume of bibliography of children literature only in Bengali.
mm.
So if there is where there is a will, there is a way. So
Definitely,
if
we
if,
have
if,
to.
if we have to put in our sincere effort, and his
Mm,
name is Madhushodan Chowdhury, and he is the district librarian of South 24 district Pargana. If you go to his library, that's one of his great work that he has done. So I think if each one of us in each of the Indian languages, so I was part of a program called Indian Public Library Movement. When we looked at, so they say same question like what Miss Aparna Ravi had, I also had the same question. I wanted to come up with a children literature bibliography so that we give our children books rather than books which they can cherish and enjoy and grow up in a positive environment. So that's when so he did it for Bengali, but similarly it's not, there is not much available, though the work is there, but the compilation of the literature is not available. So if we could
See,
take it as
what we can encourage. That is the thing. See, in our country, what is happening is the academics, the industry, the government policies, all the things are going in different directions. Once you streamline, correlate each and everything, definitely miracles can be done. And many treasures can be taken out of it. See, all the things are available. Our Periyar Sami Thuran is there, is a very good poet in Tamil for children literature. And Kavimani Desika Pillai, Vinayaka Pillai there. Has given a very good way of. So what we can do is we can translate all these things into Hindi and English and Marathi, Gujarati, all these things. So in their own way. So only though when you have a link between all these things, when you have a common platform, so for that we have to do something. So in a very streamlined way, that is one way we can do. And another thing is, and the regional wise, we can encourage people to write. And another thing is, you allow your children to write; they will write wonderfully. You ask children. So only I told you, you have creators in you. New next generation, they are only going to write. Encourage them to write. Ask them to write something. When you go for any out, ask them to write about that experience. 5 lines or 10 lines. Let them write. You just put it in some blogs or something like that.
So
You
there is a
give
question. Yeah, there is a question from Miss Anita Pavate. She's asking like, is there a place where she can look for like stories for children, which they can use it for sharing. So
many things are
one I
many.
could quickly recollect is there is something called Story Weaver, which the Pratham and the Google Foundation has come up with. So that has some stories which we you may want to use. Apart from this, Dr. Padmavati may be able to tell you more about that.
Actually, I should not. Actually, the private things in this platform, I should not use for giving advertisements to any other particular institutions. That will not. That will be a prejudiced one. So what I suggest is you have whatever city, because in Coimbatore we have certain people who give training to see, if you go on seeing the ads in the newspaper, or if you go to the websites, they are easily available nowadays. Many people conduct short story workshops for students in the schools and institutions itself. We conduct short story workshops, creative writing workshops. So many private people are also doing that. So if you go after it, definitely you can get, because each and every city has it. If you go to the website, definitely. And the national level also, Katha is there on many people. If you just get into it, first what we can see is first create the reading habit in them. You give them good pictorial books, comics, then small books in regional literature as well as English. Definitely, each and every child should know their mother tongue. They should read the so available. simple literature in their mother tongue. Therefore, they should read. Then only they can, their cognitive level will be prepared to accept our the ideas in a proper way. So we can introduce, make them read their mother tongue literary works, as well as Hindi. They have to read English. They have to read. Definitely, each and every child should know at least 3 4 languages, and they should be able to read the literature from those books. And all, as the elders can read the global literature. So you can, Latin American writings are there. So Pablo Neruda, all these books. No, when we read about all these global literature, we come to know the pains of the other parts of the world which they come across. We can understand. See, we cannot close our eyes so to all the things. So only when you read the literature you can understand. See, all the media or this thing, that is different. They are showing because we know about what is happening. But and many times, no, even if they show everything very correctly, that doesn't leave that much. They are just news for us. But when any news enter into the literature, they get life. They
Okay.
get life. They, we become empathy. They show our empathy towards it. Okay,
Sure.
and we become compassionate towards the entire world. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, madam, for this wonderful webinar. So this webinar had the highest number of participants so far. So and my special appreciation to Mr. or Miss Karan Preet Singh. With their surname, it looks like they are from North India, but they have been posting it in Tamil, in the
Yes.
language Tamil. So that's
Mm.
wonderful to see. So now, uh, so this entire webinar recording is going to be made available in our YouTube channel, PN Panikar Foundation's YouTube channel. So you can visit it and then download or view it for reference. And also, I'm going to share the feedback form URL for you to submit your feedback. And then, so once you submit your feedback, at the bottom there is an icon called download your e-certificate. So kindly click on the download e-certificate. Then the certificate will be opening in a new page. So first take a screenshot of the certificate, right? And then save it in a what you call this in a paint or in a word document, so that you keep the certificate with you safely. And then there is, on the top you have a print button. So just click on the print button. Then you can save that as a PDF file. In case if you don't have a PDF printer, go to Google and search for PDF printer. So then you will be able to download the certificate from there. So this feedback form will be open for 1 hour. So kindly submit your feedback within an hour. And I'm just entering the feedback form URL. So kindly don't put any chat message for the next few minutes. Then this will be lost. And I once again thank Dr. Patmavati for this amazing session. In fact, I enjoyed a lot. I think all the participants will also agree with me. This is one of the best sessions that we have attended. So with this words, I would like to thank PN Panika Foundation, National Digital Library of India, and Dr. Patmavati for making this webinar a success. Once again, I thank all the participants for your kind and patient listening and interacting with us. Once again, thank you, Dr. Patmavati, for joining us.
I thank you, Vignesh sir, for this nice, for the opportunity given to me to interact with so many people. And आज आपने मेरे मुंह की बात छीन. Whatever I wanted to tell, definitely I could able to reach so many people. And I would like to thank once again Panikar Foundation, NDLI, for this amazing webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all participants.